so much. Muchas gracias. Thank you. I'll speak in English if that's okay. All right. So my name is Arnie Katz. I'm the Chief Product and Technology Officer of GoFundMe, which is a community-powered fundraising platform, the leading one in the world. And our mission is to help people help each other. For example, when the fires broke out in LA, in Los Angeles, earlier this year, over $250 million were raised to individual in needs and to nonprofits helping them. Nonprofits come to us on a daily basis to raise dollars for their missions. Individuals come to us on a daily basis to ask for and receive help. We're a global company. We have offices in the United States, in London, in Dublin, and also right here in Buenos Aires. I'm here today to talk about...
Excelente. Sí.
Okay. I'm here today to talk about the most exciting development of our generation, artificial intelligence. Thank you so much for being here, both virtually and in person. Right, AI is not just another tool. It's a transformational shift, much like the Industrial Revolution. It's bringing massive changes to the way we live, the way we work. It's probably going to change how our economies and our societies are structured. And unlike the Industrial Revolution that took over 150 years to unfold, it's happening very, very fast. Like, this is going to be a matter of maybe a couple of decades. Companies are racing to adopt AI to drive velocity, efficiency, innovation, and advantage. And AI is transforming every industry, everything from transportation to healthcare, from customer service to education, and even how we ask for and how we give help. At GoFundMe, we believe the power of AI is first and foremost in how it can solve real human problems. That's why we start with every innovation with the question of how can we solve a real customer pain point, a real frustration, a real friction, and use AI to deepen and scale connection. Let's first talk about how AI is a force multiplier for product velocity. Our design, engineering, and technology teams are using ChatGPT for product ideation. We're using Augment for faster coding. We're using Lovable for vibe coding and for mock generation. The results are much faster cycles from idea to prototype to launch and to impact. We can now build prototypes in hours. What a product launch that used to take years now takes months. A product launch that used to take months now takes weeks. And I'll give you an example of a day in the life of an engineer, something that is already happening. An engineer today could start their day in the morning, decide on 5 Jira tickets, 5 tickets they want to work on, send 4 of these tickets to an agent to basically look for the best path to solve that ticket, and decide to work on the 5th ticket by themselves. An hour later, they take a break from working on that 5th ticket, and they see that the agent developed an approach for the other 4 tickets. They give 3 of the tickets just the go-ahead. On the 4th ticket, they may make a small tweak on the approach and then ask the agent to solve the problem that way. And they continue working on that 5th ticket. When they finish that 5th ticket, they now have 5 ready pull requests at their disposal. They maybe make some additional small tweaks for those pull requests and send those 5 pull requests to an agent to validate test coverage. It comes back with some suggestions. They accept most of them. And they send the pull request to yet another agent to do an automatic code review. They get some comments from that agent. Again, they accept most of them. And now, and only now, do they send that code to a manual review by a human engineer. Now, what I just described may sound like an optimization of how you write code, but it's a whole different scale of velocity, like 10 times the velocity. And this is now why you'll see the entire industry accelerate in the coming months, in the coming quarters, and the coming years. Now, of course, once you launch the product, we leverage AI for A/B testing, for error detection, for outage detection, for outage recovery, for product misuse. We use AI all across the product development life cycle, and of course when the code is in production. So we talked about how we accelerate product velocity, but of course what you can do with AI is not just that. You can build features that you were not able to build before this technology. And we've been building those features for almost 2 years now. We started releasing them early last year, and we already had 50 million usages of those features in our production environment. Now, this is the most talented group of folks. The product and technology team at GoFundMe is the most talented group of folks that I ever worked with. Many of them, by the way, are based right here in Buenos Aires. Some of them are here in this crowd. We are focused on high velocity and rapid prototyping, and we are not afraid to fail. We have a bias for action. We take calculated risks all the time. The reason why we take those risks is because we know that's the only path to success. When we fail, we learn and we pivot. When we succeed, we scale, we also learn, and we iterate. It's like the Jeff Bezos quote, which is, if you want to swing for the fences, you're going to strike out quite a bit, but you're also going to get home runs. Now, we're here in Buenos Aires. This is obviously Messi's country, so let's call it shots to goal. We've been taking a lot of shots to goal over the last 2 years, and of course, therefore, we also had a lot of impact. But before we decide to test and learn a new feature, we always start with 3 quick questions. The first is, what's the real customer pain point or friction that we're trying to solve? The second is, will solving that problem, that friction, that frustration, is it going to have a material impact to our mission? Otherwise, it's not necessarily worth solving. Or maybe someone else should go after solving it. And the third is AI part of the right solution? Because AI can help solve quite a few problems, but it's not the solution for all problems. Now, once we make the decision that this problem is worthy of further work, that this is an interesting problem that can impact our mission, and AI is part of the solution, now we have a process we go about. We look at the data, we talk with our customers, you never skip that step. And thirdly, you now leverage AI to create a step change in what legacy products could have achieved. So let's deep dive first into the look of the data. And I'm going to use examples for each one of these 3 steps. For GoFundMe to look at the data, oftentimes means to look at funnels. One of the most important funnels at GoFundMe is when you come to our website and you want to create a fundraiser, basically say that you have a need to the world. And we observed that a lot of people are coming to start a fundraiser, and not enough of them actually complete that funnel. Not enough of them actually publish that fundraiser. So of course, the next question is why? And we look at the different steps, and we saw that a lot of the drop-off is happening at the step where you write the story for the fundraiser and where you come up with a headline. So that was great, because Gen AI, LLMs, large language models, just, of course, burst into the scene just a few months before. And that's a problem that they're actually really good at, helping you craft better stories, helping you land on the right title. So we could use AI to do that. So we built and we launched a feature that basically helps craft those stories and crafts the headlines. And the way it does that, right, is it asks tailored questions around your story, like why are you here? What is your need? Give us some more details about your need. Basically extracts as much information as possible, and then coming up with the right story and the right title for that story, for that need. And very interestingly, what we found is that those stories actually resonate better when you actually let people read the stories that people wrote by themselves versus stories that the AI helped craft. The stories that the AI helped craft are actually resonating better. They're more successful. They raise more money. And today, also 80% of the titles on GoFundMe are generated with the help of AI. So of course, it's still guided by human. It's still a real need. But it was helped by AI, and it's more successful for it. So that was one example. We also saw a drop-off in the post-launched sharing. So once you created your campaign, you hit publish, it's published. Now you have to tell the world about that need. Not surprisingly, if you don't tell the world about that need, if you don't share, that fundraiser is not going to be as successful. We actually have the exact stat. If you don't share in the first day, the fundraiser is going to raise 10% less money. So we knew we had to help with that problem as well. So we're building a personalized next best action engine. What that engine does is, for people that are first-time fundraisers, which most of the people coming to our platform, that's what they are. They're coming to us at the time of need. They need money, and they need the guidance, right? They don't know when to share. They don't know when to write an update. They don't know when to write a thank you note. They literally don't know what the next best action to take is. So we're building that personalized AI-based engine, and that experience basically help them with that decision, with the goal of driving more success for our fundraisers. And I'll give you one last example here, which is the Gen AI social sharing tools. One of the things we observed is when we ask people to share, both their fundraisers and other people's fundraisers, they don't know what to write, they don't know what the right image to use, they don't know what text to use. So we came up with with posters and videos that are, again, AI generated to increase donors. And by the way, these are doing now very well. Like, they're driving engagement, they're driving donations, they're driving amount of money raised. But we are mostly engineers in this room, and we all know that the path to success is not linear. So I want to share some of that, of what it means to not be afraid of failure. We came up with the hypothesis, right? The hypothesis was that we can build better posters, and we can build posters, and we can build videos and help fundraisers be more successful. So with that hypothesis, we moved quickly, and within a couple of months, 2 months, we had a product live in production. And then we were very excited. We knew that this should work. And we looked at the data, and unfortunately, it failed. Those posters and videos were driving actually less traffic and less donations than the control, which was basically to help with nothing. So the question is why? And took us a bit to figure it out, and we were almost ready to give up. But then a data scientist right here in Buenos Aires found a way to look at the data in a really sophisticated way. And what they figured out was that when the fundraiser was less successful, when it has not so less successful earlier in the life cycle, and it had less than 50% goal completement, so the goal was less than 50%, we got less traffic and less donations. But when the fundraisers were more advanced and already got more than 50% of the goal achieved, we actually got a lot more traffic and a lot more donations to those posters and videos. So therefore now for the design team, they knew what to do, right? What the next thing to try, which was to remove that goal completion from the posters and from the videos. We removed them, we did the test again, and this time it worked. So let's recap what happened here. We had a strong hypothesis, strong idea what to do. We moved fast. We weren't afraid of failure. We failed, but we learned from it. We iterated. We went live again, and now we had a success. All right, so let's get back to those three key steps, right? We talked about looking at the data. Now let's talk about listening to our customers. And we do that all the time at GoFundMe. We talk with nonprofits, for example, all the time. And one of the largest nonprofits told us that one of the challenges for them using our system was that for different campaigns, they had different goals. They wanted to send a campaign for large donors and to maximize for large gift amount there. For another campaign, they wanted to convert as much donors as possible. They wanted to increase the size of the donor base. The actual donation amount for each donation wasn't as critical. And to a third campaign, for somewhat frequent donors, they wanted to convert them to monthly donors. So different goals for different campaigns. And of course, again, AI is actually quite strong in predicting what is the right donation and what is the right behavior for each one based on a given goal, right? So we came up with this product we call Intelligent Ask Amount that basically allows the nonprofits, gives them the agency to decide for every goal, for every campaign, what the goal is. And based on that goal, our algorithms are now maximizing results for that constraint, for that goal. So for campaigns that the goal is to raise as much money, it could be from large donors, it could be for a crisis where you need a large amount of money immediately. The machine learning algorithms will maximize for larger amounts, all sort of visual cues to make that happen. For campaigns where you want to increase conversion, maybe smaller amounts and other visual cues. For campaigns where you want monthly sustainers, monthly gifts, again, different amounts, different visual cues, different defaults. So that product, of course, it was, again, a huge success. And then the third point was how you leverage AI to completely reinvent, step change legacy products. And I'll give you another example there. There is a product called Donor Advised Fund, a financial product. Been around for decades. Run by large financial institutions in the US. Less than 1% of the population in the US actually have an account like that. What it is, it's basically a wallet within a charity. You can move money into that wallet. You can get the benefits of a donation, but you can still manage that money. You can invest it, can let it grow, and then you can move it into your favorite charity at a later point. And again, we thought AI could be leveraged here to completely reinvent the game here. So we did. We launched a product called Giving Funds. It launched less than 3 months ago now. And it's GoFundMe version of a modern, accessible DAF. It's one place where you can plan, invest, grow your giving, get one tax receipt. There are no fees, no minimum. Donations are as low as $5. So remember all that friction that only allowed 1% of the population to have an account like that? All of that friction is now gone. And not surprisingly, we're seeing very early adoption, a lot of interest. And of course, you can still make this product so much better with AI. Imagine a world soon where each person will have a philanthropic advisor that will understand what their values are, how they're trying to impact the world, where they want to put their money, and advise those donor-advised fund holders on when and how to put their money to the best use to impact that mission, those values. Now, when you build a product like that, right, it's really important to measure success. And we are lucky at GoFundMe because for us, our customer success is our success. If more money gets moved to charity, more money gets donated, that's how we make our money. So it's very easy, very tied to our mission. So we've entered now the age of AI agents. AI is evolving so fast. What used to take years is now taking months. Agents can reason, they can plan, they can act autonomously. They can handle complex workflows, they can integrate with tools, they can even drive outcomes. And the future is now not how you use AI, but how you collaborate with AI, both as an employee within a company to do your job better, and as a consumer. We see how AI is going to give greater agency for our consumers, greater agency to our nonprofits to achieve their goals and their missions. Agents will help navigating fundraising, tell stories, engage communities, and yes, raise more money. And the outcome, of course, is that more people get the help they need, which is our mission. So I'll close with this. AI should amplify, not replace human generosity. AI should help people be more generous, more connected, more empowered, allow us all to build a better world. If our story resonates with you, we are at booth number 9. We would love to chat with you more. If you want to hear more about AI, more about those stories, about those failures, about those successes, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I write a lot of those failures and success stories on my page. And yeah, I'll open it up for questions now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, there's any questions here? But I have a question for you, if you want to.
Yeah.
What is the future of AI? If you want to, I don't know, think in, never mind. What is the future of AI, if you want to tell me?
It's so hard to predict, right? Mm-hmm. You always know where you are and you can try assess. Like one of the things I like to think about in the Industrial Revolution, like if you would go 300 years back and you'd ask someone, what will the AI revolution, what would the Industrial Revolution allow, right? They wouldn't have imagined a world where there'll be running water in every house and electricity in every house, and where all of us can have all the clothes we need and the food we need. And also they wouldn't imagine a world where there'll be computer engineers and podcasters, right? All of these professions that didn't exist. 40% of the population before the Industrial Revolution were farmers. Today, like, think about how many farmers you know. My parents were farmers, but it's actually quite uncommon now to hear someone say that, right? So, yeah, I don't know exactly where this lands, but you know, some people have the view of all of the, all of the professions are going away. We won't need to work. I'm more of an optimist. For me, that's a very pessimistic world, and I'm more of an optimist. So I think our professions, the way we work, the way we live, will change radically, will be very different. But I think overall, what we've seen so far is every such revolution, again, the agricultural revolution, the industrial revolution, the personal computer, the internet, the iPhone, each one of them continue to improve our lives, get people out of poverty. Our lives are better for it. So again, I think our lives will be better. I just can't tell you exactly what it would mean.
But probably you can tell me, I'm from human resources, and probably you can tell me what skills we need from this big
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, I think our judgment, is becoming more and more important, right? Like, we need to use our brain in a way that it's just becoming more and more important. And if you want to be successful in this new world, I guess maybe the advice there I'll say is just you've got to use AI. Like, it's, we are all learning. I'm 3 years into it now, and I'm learning of using this specific AI. Of course, I used AI before, but using LLMs. I'm 3 years into that and learning. The only way I'm learning, the only way I'm seeing the organization learn is by doing it. So my advice...
Learning by the mistakes, you say.
Yeah, learning by the mistakes, just trying it. I know there are people out there that are fearing for their job. I think the people that are going to let the fear control them and stay away from this revolution are actually the people that will stay behind in terms of productivity, and then they're really risking themselves. But the people that are going to lean into it, are not going to be afraid, are going to do and are going to learn, they're going to become so much more productive, they'll be able to achieve so much. So I guess that's my biggest advice, is just lean into it.
Nice,
Cool.
thank you.
Any questions? There. The mic, please.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you mentioned some features that you develop internally, and I'm curious about how was the process internally to first adapt the team? How was the adoption of the team developing all that? Like, was there any pushback internally or something like that?
The adoption of AI, and it's still ongoing, right? One adoption is still going, and the tools are changing so fast. Like, every week there is a tweak to the current product or a new product coming to the scene that we need to learn. I mean, the process was to first say that we're doing it, right? Like, we're going to be a company that is going to adopt AI, and we're going to adopt AI quickly, and we're not going to be afraid of if we fail, and we will fail, and it's okay, and it's going to be a bit messy. So first it was about charting that vision, which, I don't know, it's not that visionary, I think. It's fairly obvious that we have to do it. And then the first decision I made in that regard was we're going to sign an enterprise deal with OpenAI. We're going to give everyone a seat. We're going to let everyone start using ChatGPT, right? And of course, different people adopted it in different speeds. Not everyone started using it right away, but there were a few people that started using a lot of it, right? And now they're learning and they're getting better and they're understanding how to use it in a way that makes them more productive. And those people, of course, you're now bringing them to brown bags, to lunches, to talk about what they learned. You ask questions in meetings around, did we use AI to build this product? You look for tools for code writing, right? So we found, of course, Copilot had code writing, but we also brought Augment early on as another tool. Today, by the way, we use additional tools like Cursor and others. And of course, all those tools continue to get better and we need to continue to learn. But again, back to that point of like, it's just encouraging people to do and to try, give them the space to fail. Today I've been in the role for just over 2 years. We have a quite impressive adoption of AI. Is it perfect? Of course it's not. The world is changing so fast right now. So we continue to stay focused on it and train people up and teach them and reward the people that are being more productive and learning and getting better as a result of those tools. And the entire team is leveling up every day.
Question. Hey, Arnie, thanks for the presentation. So in the agentic architecture diagram that you presented there, is there any like classic backend involved in the user task? What's the percentage of the classic backend in a user task, or is it all handled by AI agents? Thank you.
Like the work, I mean, at the end, you need backend codes still, and more and more of that backend code is being written by AI, but you can't get away from writing the code. The agents can activate features and functions, right? But those features and functions have to be written first.
Okay.
So yeah, but in the diagram that I showed, right, you had basically You had agents that were controlling other agents, right? Again, this is the world we're getting into, where you have more general agents that are then controlling other more specific agents that are maybe controlling even more specific agents under them. And each layer of these is reasoning and making decisions and specialized in a specific way. And then again, reporting back up the chain of command, let's call it, up the chain to agents that can maybe handle more generic tasks and get input from a few of these more specialized agents. And again, make decisions and give information to other human beings to make decisions. This is the kind of architecture where I believe we're heading into in the world. And it's a very, very exciting world to be in.
Thank you. I have a second question. How did you convince your fundraisers that it is okay if we fail?
Like they actually are consumers?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for the consumers, for them it doesn't look like failure, right? Failure. For them it looks like a success. We're running tests all the time. Like every consumer facing every platform in the world that wants to advance, to innovate, is running tests all the time. As a consumer using the platform, you are being bucketed to different variants, right? You can be bucketed to the control or to the variant A or variant B, right? And you'll get different experience. And then we look at the data and see what variant or the control was the best, and that's where what we go with, or we learn further, right? So yeah, sometimes one consumer out of, a few consumers out of 10,000 will be bucketed in control or variant A or variant B, and again, we don't know ahead of time which one is going to perform the best. But for all of the consumers, over time, this is obviously working out really well because within weeks, within months, sometimes within days, sometimes even within hours, the product is getting so much better and allows them to be more successful. So again, for the consumer, it looks like a success because they come to us one day, and then they come to us a month or two later, and they're more successful because of all the changes that happened during that time. It doesn't look like a failure to them.
What about your investors?
Investors, of course, I think every investor should demand of their companies to work in that way because, right, what investor wants, and by the way, all GoFundMe employees also hold equity in the company, so they are investors as well. Every investor wants the share price to grow, right? They want the company to do good for the world and be ethical and et cetera, part of the community. But they also want the company to do well, to share price to increase. And the way to share price to increase is to understand what the customer needs are and then solve those those needs in a really good way, a way that brings value to the customer and to the world, but also, of course, allows the company to retain some of that value. That iterative process of experiments allows to do that, allows you to learn, to study, to then ship, to learn some more, adjust your product, come up with new products and release them and see what happens and make them better. And that's how you create shareholder value. That's how you increase the value of the company, and of course investors, that's what they're trying to solve for.
One more question there.
Hey, Arnie, thank you for your talk. I mean, you were talking about AI and, of course, all the changes that we bring to the workplace. My question for you is, if I were starting, again, my career as an engineer, how should I choose my first job? I mean, how will you do it now in today's era of AI?
I love that question. Thank you. So, yeah, the advice I would give you in terms of the first job is, maybe I'll start with what not to do in the beginning. Don't choose a job just because of the brand name of the company. Don't choose a job just because they are paying you more than anyone else. Don't choose a job because you think that's going to be the place where you're going to work the less amount of time, the less amount of effort. Okay? If you want, early in your career, I would prioritize learning. You want to learn as much as possible. So you want a company that, in this era, right, a company that is leaning into AI, that you're going to be able to learn AI. That's the number one to prioritize in learning right now. You want to prioritize a company that has a culture where the managers, the bosses are expected to mentor you and to push you and to develop you further. You want to choose a company that will ask a lot of you in terms of producing. It's not going to always be the easiest thing every day, right? You're going to be actually asked to work hard. Not necessarily, it's not just amount of hours. It doesn't need to be hours, but it's actually focus on your work and work hard. And if you are going to learn, we talked about AI, but a lot of other things, skills as well. If you're going to be out of your comfort zone, learning new skills, if you're going to be upskilling yourself, right? Later on in your career, you're going to be so much more successful. I never prioritized money. I actually, oftentimes, earlier in my career, I chose the job with the least amount of pay that I was offered. Because what I was maximizing for is, can I learn in this job? Am I, Arnie, am I the right person for that position? And also, am I going to change the trajectory there? Is my work going to actually make an impact? And if it will, then I know that it's going to be good for my career long term. So that's the answer there.
Thank you, Arnie. Thank you so much.
Sure thing. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.